Hello, dear friends. There are many messages circulating on social media claiming to have confidential information about the implementation of the QFS. Opinion piece. QFS is watching you. Event 11.3 is coming. Final strike operation. Unstoppable liberation. New spiritual economy. Interesting time ahead. Signs of implementation. The coalition doesn't wait. Let's start. The phrase "Big Brother is watching you" originates from George Orwell's dystopian novel 1984, published in 1949. In the novel, Big Brother is the omnipresent and omnipotent leader of the party in the totalitarian state of Oceania. His face appears on billboards and screens throughout the city, accompanied by the phrase "Big Brother is watching you," symbolizing the constant surveillance to which citizens are subjected both in their public and private lives. This phrase has become a cultural symbol of social control, loss of privacy, and state surveillance, and is often used to denounce situations in which those in power invasively observe and control society. The old system was based on monitoring those at the bottom to protect those at the top. The new system is based on monitoring those at the top to protect those at the bottom. We live in very interesting times, according to Benjamin Picton. May you live in interesting times is a phrase attributed to an ancient Chinese curse. The general idea is that interesting times tend to be tumultuous and difficult, rather than easy and comfortable. Given that we live in a time when all established orthodoxies are crumbling, the current climate fits the bill for interest. Positive surveillance. The quantum financial system QFS has now become a means of combating the dark side. Starting May 9, 2025, the QFS is no longer just a passive system. It has become an active instrument against financial tyranny, according to Ethan White of Gaystellar. Every transaction in 42 countries is monitored, catalogued, and mapped in real time by quantum artificial intelligence. Dark side financiers are being electronically hunted down. Their assets are frozen mid-transfer, and their shell companies are dismantled overnight. Reports indicate that more than $780 billion in dark side dirty money has been seized since April alone, since the 1st of April. These funds are being allocated to user debt relief programs, citizen asset recovery funds, and humanitarian technology deployments that are expected to begin operating in June. Tesla code 369 is the key to activating your QFS accounts. Since President Trump signed the Golden Directive on January 15, 2025, a coordinated global offensive has been underway, led by coalition forces deployed in 42 countries. Hundreds of underground vaults have been raided in the past 60 days. The plan for a central bank digital currency, a Chinese-style social credit currency, has failed, destroyed by the enforcement of XRP and RLUSD, the only two digital assets currently authorized within the QFS structure. Final blow. Operation Final Blow. Event 11.3 is approaching. The coalition is no longer waiting for permission. The final triggering event, internally coded as 11.3, is closer than ever. It will be a communications blackout, a mass awakening of the civilian population, and a global collapse of the dark side, all at least within a short time frame of 10 days. The freedom channels, encrypted and inaccessible thanks to the new Starlink quantum network, will be the only lines of real communication left. We want that when the freedom channels are publicly activated, it will be time to be ready for use. Sources confirm that preliminary tests for activating the Liberty Channel were secretly conducted last week and were successful. The dark side's ability to coordinate will be destroyed at the speed of light, and humanity's final liberation is now unstoppable. The storm is not approaching. The storm is raging, destroying everything the dark side built. The next phase will not be televised by the failing media. We will experience it. Nothing can stop what is coming, and it's coming fast. Definition: Quantum Financial System, QFS, is a concept popularized in the new spiritual economy. It refers to a quantum-based financial system that would replace the traditional financial system. Part of the QFS narrative is intertwined with the global financial reset and the replacement of the fiat currency system with gold-backed digital currencies. Some versions of the QFS include spiritual or metaphysical elements, such as planetary ascension and the intervention of benevolent entities. The QFS, by integrating quantum cryptography and blockchain technology, promises data security far superior to that of current systems. Quantum encryption would make transactions and financial information invulnerable to attacks, as any attempt at interference would alter the quantum state of the data and be immediately detected. It is described as a system that would leverage quantum computing, quantum cryptography, and blockchain technology to manage all global financial transactions. It is credited with advantages such as superior security and privacy thanks to quantum encryption, complete transparency and traceability of all transactions, elimination of corruption, fraud, and money laundering, near instant processing and decentralization without intermediaries like traditional banks, and the possibility of digital currencies backed by gold or other physical assets, which would guarantee stability and intrinsic value. Science. Anonymous messages claiming to have confidential information about the implementation of the QFS are circulating on social media. The financial reset is linked to the QFS and refers to a global economic reset, debt forgiveness, and wealth redistribution, as well as the adoption of blockchain technologies and cryptocurrencies by central banks. The development of central bank digital currencies has opposing objectives. Signs of the QFS include bank shutdowns or outages, temporary bank closures, unusual system maintenance, or massive upgrades, which are interpreted as changes to integrate the QFS. For example, temporary ATM crashes or transfers and movement of large amount of gold. News of countries repatriating gold or increasing their reserves is seen as a sign that they are supporting their currencies in preparation for a QFS-based asset-backed currency. The shift away from the dollar in international trade by countries such as Russia, China, and Brazil is also interpreted as preparation for an alternative economy compatible with the QFS. Projects. There are quantum cryptography pilot projects at banks such as BBA and Santander, focused on improving communication security, and initiatives such as Caramel project in Spain, exploring quantum security in banking. There is growing interest and progress in related technologies such as quantum computing, quantum cryptography, and the integration of blockchain in the financial sector. Major international banks such as JP Morgan and Goldman Sachs, and Spanish banks such as BBVA and Santander are exploring applications of quantum computing to improve the security and efficiency of their operations, but these efforts are limited to pilot projects and proofs of concept, not the implementation of a full QFS. At the governmental level, countries such as Spain have launched national strategies and investments to develop quantum technologies and build quantum computing infrastructure. The Caramel project is the world's first satellite mission in geostationary orbit focused on key distribution through quantum communications, a technology that seeks to guarantee the security of information transmissions in the face of risk. Caramel's main objective is to develop a quantum key distribution system using a geostationary satellite, which will allow ultra-secure encryption keys to be exchanged between users located at different points around the globe. The project is led by Hispasat and involves the participation of more than 20 Spanish companies and institutions, including major banks, operators such as Telefónica and Cellnex, and research centers, the Institute of Photonic Sciences and the Polytechnic University of Madrid. Caramel is designed to integrate with terrestrial infrastructure and become part of the European Secure Quantum Communications Network. One of the project's focuses is to analyze real-world use cases, especially in the banking sector and telecommunications operators, to protect sensitive data from future quantum computer attacks. Breaking news. Stablecoins are poised for widespread adoption by 2025. Despite panic, consumer price inflation falls to its lowest level ever. Tariffs take their toll on the US small businesses. The US and China begin a trade truce that will allow them to seek a new agreement. The US and China reduced their tariffs to 30% and 10% respectively for 90 days. China reverses ban on Boeing jet deliveries after trade breakthrough. Trump claims trade with the EU is more unpleasant than with China. The Pentagon discharges 100 soldiers who identified as transgender. Texas governor halts development of controversial city for Muslims. Republicans push $1.3 billion bill to refill the strategic petroleum reserve. Middle East. Trump closes defense deals with Saudi Arabia worth 127 billion euros. 500,000 Gazans are on the brink of starvation due to the blockade. The Kurdish militant group PKK disbands after 40 years of conflict with Turkey. Europe. European stock markets and Brent rise sharply after the US-China agreement. Brussels launches plan to stop importing Russian gas. Blackouts in Europe are a warning for Americans. The cause is not clear, reported the New York Times, and there is no evidence of a cyber attack. Is Britain on the brink of a civil war? The UK announces a plan to control immigration and regain border control. NATO launches a major military exercise on the Russian-Finnish border. Pope Leo calls for the release of imprisoned journalists. Spain. Hydrogen fevers soars with 650 projects from 206 companies. Spain is investigating cybersecurity vulnerabilities in small generators as a possible cause of the blackout. The Treasury is imputing winnings from gambling they didn't make of 200 of citizens' income tax returns. Americas. The Mexican peso reached its highest level in 7 months. The Mexican peso closed March with a slight loss due to the tariffs impacts. Tourism to Mexico rose 10% in March, but spending per visitor fell. The UN calls on Mexico to pay greater attention to seeking mothers. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.